Ever wondered if that first glass of water in the morning is actually helping or secretly hurting your body? We all know the old advice, drink water as soon as you wake up. It's been repeated so often it feels like gospel. And yes, staying hydrated is crucial. But what if I told you there's a hidden side to this simple habit that nobody really talks about? Something that, especially as we get older, can actually backfire if you're not careful. Sounds strange, right? Just water. How could that be harmful? Yet the truth is our bodies change as the years go by. What felt perfect and refreshing in your 30s or 40s might not sit so well in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. This isn't because you're doing anything wrong. It's simply that your body now needs a little more kindness and awareness. Think about it, decades of life have shaped your heart, your kidneys, your digestion. When you wake up, your body is in a delicate, almost fragile state. Hormones are shifting, your blood pressure is adjusting, and your stomach, along with your muscles, is just waking up from its deep rest. If you rush that moment, if you slam down a cold glass of water without thought, it might not be the gentle start you expect. Instead, it can trigger discomfort or even stress your system. Today, I'm going to share 5 common mistakes people often make when drinking water first thing in the morning. Most of us don't even realize we're doing them. But by the time you finish watching, you'll know exactly what to avoid and how to turn that morning ritual into a soothing, body-loving habit. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments below. I love seeing the places you call home. And hey, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want more simple but powerful health tips that really work. Trust me, what's coming next will change how you feel every morning. Mistake number 1, drinking ice cold water on an empty stomach. Let me ask you, have you ever taken a big gulp of icy water right after waking up and suddenly felt a twist in your stomach? Maybe a chill creeping down your chest. Some people even feel lightheaded or get a headache afterward. Usually we brush it off or blame it on something else. But here's the real story. Drinking ice-cold water on an empty stomach can shock your body in a way it's not ready for, especially after a night's rest. While you sleep, your body goes into a calm, healing mode. Your organs slow down, digestion quiets, and your blood vessels constrict a little. Then morning comes, and instead of easing into the day, you throw a freezing cold glass of water down like a jolt of electricity. Imagine starting your car engine on a freezing winter morning and then slamming the gas pedal immediately. That's what you're doing to your stomach muscles and circulation. Cold water causes your stomach muscles to tense up, your blood vessels to narrow more, and your entire system to go on high alert. When you're younger, you might bounce back quickly and feel refreshed. But as you age, your metabolism slows, circulation becomes more sensitive, and your internal thermostat struggles with extremes. So what felt like a burst of energy before can actually leave you feeling worse. Cold hands cramp, sluggish digestion. It's not the water itself that's the problem, but the temperature and timing. Let me tell you about Eleanor. At 76, she was sharp and vibrant, but loved to start her day with a glass of ice-cold water straight from the fridge. She believed it woke her up and cleared her system. But over time, she noticed her hands felt cold, her stomach cramped, and digestion dragged on all morning. It wasn't until her doctor suggested switching to room temperature water that she noticed the difference. Within a week, her mornings felt smoother, calmer, and that uncomfortable knot in her stomach vanished. Just letting your water sit out for a while or warming it slightly can transform your mornings. Remember, your body has carried you through decades. Doesn't it deserve a gentler welcome each day? If you've been reaching for that icy glass first thing, why not try room temperature water for a few days? You might be surprised how much better you feel. Mistake number 2. Drinking water too fast or in large gulps. I get it. The temptation is real. You wake up thirsty, your mouth feels dry, and it's tempting to chug the whole glass in one go. It feels satisfying, like getting it over with quickly. But here's the catch. Drinking water too fast, especially right after waking up, can disrupt your body's natural rhythm in subtle but important ways. When you first open your eyes, your body is still shifting gears. Your heart rate is gently rising, blood pressure adjusting, and your stomach lining is only just beginning to wake. Then suddenly a flood of water rushes in, expanding your stomach quickly. This can cause bloating, nausea, or even dizziness. Some people report a strange fluttering feeling in their chest afterward, puzzled by the sensation. The problem isn't the water, it's how fast you're drinking it. When you gulp down water, your kidneys scramble to handle the sudden influx, and your system can feel overwhelmed. What if instead you took slow, mindful sips? Let your body gently wake up alongside each swallow. This simple shift can make mornings feel less stressful and more balanced. That's just the start. Stay tuned for the next tips that will help you make every morning glass of water a refreshing boost, not a hidden challenge. Continuing from what we just covered about how rushing your morning hydration can throw your body off balance, let's dive deeper into what actually happens inside your system and why going too fast with your water can cause more harm than good. When you gulp water too quickly after waking, your electrolyte balance can shift suddenly. This isn't just a small blip, it sets off a ripple effect throughout your entire body, especially for older adults whose systems are naturally more sensitive and less forgiving. The result? You can feel off dizzy or out of sorts for hours without even realizing why. Let me share a quick story to bring this to life. Walter is 72 years old, a retired coach with decades of experience leading teams. He was proud of his disciplined morning routine, drinking a full bottle of water the moment he woke up, even before his feet touched the floor. To him, it was the mark of a healthy lifestyle. But Walter had a problem. Some mornings, inexplicably, he'd feel dizzy. Not every day, but often enough to make him uneasy. Puzzled, he brought it up with his doctor. After some discussion, they discovered the culprit wasn't the water itself, it was how fast he was drinking it and how much at once. His body simply wasn't getting enough time to adjust to the sudden rush of fluid. The solution was simple, yet profound. Walter started sipping his water, slowly stretching it out over 15 to 20 minutes. No more rushing, no more big gulps, just slow, gentle hydration. The result? The dizziness vanished, his mornings became smoother, and his energy felt more stable throughout the day. No new medications, no complicated treatments, just a mindful change in how he drank his water. Think about that for a second. Your body isn't asking for a flood of water the moment you wake up. It's craving a gentle stream, a soft, steady flow. It can process without stress. So when you sit up in bed, take a deep breath and sip slowly, you're actually giving your body a gift, the chance to wake up gently alongside you. If you're used to chugging your water to get it over with, why not try slowing down tomorrow? See how you feel after a few days. Sometimes it's the smallest changes that bring the biggest improvements. Mistake number 3, drinking from plastic bottles left out overnight. Now here's a surprising one. If you keep a water bottle by your bedside to sip throughout the night or first thing in the morning, this might catch you off guard. It's easy and convenient. Just reach over and grab your bottle. But what many don't realize is that plastic bottles sitting out overnight, especially in a warm room, can leach harmful chemicals into the water. At first glance, it's just plain water, right? But the reality is more complex. Older or lower quality plastics often contain BPA. Bisphenol A, a chemical known to disrupt your hormones. Even bottles labeled BPA-free can contain similar chemicals that behave the same way when exposed to heat and time. These substances are called endocrine disruptors, meaning they mimic or interfere with your body's natural hormones. And as we age, our hormone balance becomes more delicate and sensitive. If you're managing thyroid issues, blood pressure, or blood sugar, adding foreign chemicals, even in tiny amounts, can make your body work overtime just to keep things balanced. You might not notice immediate symptoms, but over time, people often report feeling more tired, moody, bloated, or simply off without understanding why. Let me tell you about Stanley, a 78-year-old who was diligent about his water intake. He filled up a plastic bottle from the tap, kept it on his nightstand, and sipped from it every morning, a routine that seemed healthy. But after a few months, Stanley began experiencing headaches, strange digestive discomfort, and fatigue that wouldn't go away even with plenty of sleep. His diet hadn't changed, and his doctor found nothing unusual. It wasn't until he spoke with a nutritionist that they pinpointed the problem: his plastic bottle. Reused and left near a warm lamp all night, it was releasing chemicals into his water. Stanley switched to the glass bottle and started pouring fresh water every morning instead of reusing the old bottle. Within weeks, his headaches eased, his digestion improved, and his energy returned. Now, nobody's saying a single sip of water from plastic will ruin your health, but if you do it daily for weeks or months, the buildup can stress your liver, kidneys, and hormone system. For older adults, that extra burden is significant. So if you still have a plastic bottle by your bed, consider upgrading to glass or stainless steel and refill it fresh each morning. It's a small change, but one that could bring a surprising amount of peace to your body. Mistake number 4, drinking water on a very full or very empty stomach after certain medications. Let's talk about another subtle but important habit, how you drink water when you're taking medications in the morning. Picture your typical routine. You wake up, take your pills, and follow it with a glass of water. Seems logical, right? Your doctor probably told you to do just that. But what's often missing from that advice is how much water to drink, when exactly to drink it, and whether or not you should have eaten first. This tiny detail can make a huge difference. Drinking too much water too quickly on an empty stomach right after meds can cause nausea, bloating, or heartburn. It can irritate your stomach lining or interfere with how your body absorbs the medication. On the other hand, if you take meds after a very large meal and wash them down with a big glass of water, that can also be problematic, especially for medicines meant to be taken on an empty stomach. Your digestive system is delicate and still waking up in the morning. Hormones are adjusting, stomach acidity is shifting, and when you flood it with a handful of pills, followed by a large volume of water, your body might push back, saying, "Hold on, I wasn't ready for this." Let me share a story about Margaret, an 80-year-old woman on thyroid medication for years. Her routine was consistent: take her pill, drink a big glass of water, then wait before eating breakfast. But suddenly, Margaret started feeling queasy every morning. No changes to her meds or diet. Her blood work was fine, yet nausea kept returning. Building on Margaret's story and the importance of how you drink water with your medications, let's explore exactly what made such a difference for her and what it might mean for you. Finally, her doctor asked about her water habits. That simple question uncovered the root of her morning nausea. Margaret was drinking too much water too fast and too soon after taking her pill. Her sensitive stomach simply couldn't handle that sudden flood, so she made a small but powerful adjustment. Instead of downing a big glass of water all at once, she began sipping just enough, barely enough to swallow the pill. Then she waited patiently for about 45 minutes before eating breakfast. That small change was all it took. The nausea disappeared completely. Even more surprisingly, her follow-up blood work showed improvements compared to before. It wasn't a new medication or an expensive treatment, just a simple tweak in how she approached her morning routine. This adjustment helped her medication work better and gave her a more peaceful, balanced start to the day. So here's the takeaway: pay close attention to how your body reacts after taking medication. If you've been feeling queasy, foggy, or just off in the mornings, don't immediately blame the medicine or age. Sometimes the culprit is the way you take your meds, especially when it comes to water. Try taking smaller sips. Give yourself a bit of time before breakfast. Don't overwhelm your stomach right after your pills. Allow your body a gentle transition. Sometimes it's not about adding something new. It's about doing what you're already doing, but more gently and mindfully. Mistake 5. Skipping breakfast and replacing it with only water. Now let's talk about a growing trend that many older adults might be unintentionally falling into: skipping breakfast and drinking only water instead. There's a lot of advice floating around these days about fasting, detoxing, or simply drinking water first thing and skipping food. For some younger people or those on strict health regimens, that might work. But for older adults, this habit can quietly drain your energy and well-being. Think about what your body's been through overnight, fasting for 8 to 10 hours without food. Your blood sugar levels are low, your energy reserves are nearly empty, your brain needs fuel to think clearly, and your muscles require nutrients to stay strong. Drinking water alone might feel okay at first, but as the hours tick by, many people notice feeling tired, shaky, irritable, or mentally foggy. Often they chalk it up to stress or poor sleep. But the real issue is simple: your body is hungry for nourishment. Water rehydrates your cells, absolutely, but it cannot replace the nutrients that your body desperately needs to function optimally. And if you follow that water with coffee and nothing else, you might actually be pushing your system further out of balance. It's like trying to run a car on empty and hoping it performs at its best. Over time, this pattern can make your mornings much harder than they need to be. Let me introduce you to Alice. She's 69, sharp-minded, and fiercely independent. Wanting to simplify her mornings, she embraced intermittent fasting. She stopped eating breakfast altogether, drinking only water until noon. At first, she was thrilled to lose a little weight and thought the approach was working. But soon Alice noticed her mood dipping. Her memory became fuzzy. She'd find herself repeating things without realizing it. Her daughter noticed the change and gently encouraged her to see a doctor. The good news: there was no major health problem. Alice simply wasn't giving her brain the fuel it needed in the morning. Once she added a small, simple breakfast, nothing fancy, just a boiled egg, a slice of toast, and some fresh fruit, her energy surged back. She felt sharper, steadier, and more like herself again. That tiny shift restored a clarity and strength she hadn't felt in months. Here's what I want you to remember. Don't confuse less for better, especially when it comes to morning meals. Water is an essential part of a healthy routine, no doubt about it. But your body also craves real fuel to start the day right. A little protein, some fiber, and nutrients are what hold you up. They keep your mind clear and your body strong. If you've been skipping breakfast, thinking it helps, maybe tomorrow, try adding something simple, a handful of nuts, a bit of oatmeal, or even a smoothie. You might be surprised how much better your entire day feels when you finally give your body what it's asking for. Isn't it fascinating how something as simple as water, a thing we've drunk our whole lives, can start to feel so different as we get older? It's not because the water has changed, but because we have changed. Our bodies have grown wiser, more sensitive. They ask us to listen more carefully than we used to. That's really what this conversation is about. Not fear, not rigid rules, but awareness. Learning to notice those small, subtle things that quietly shape how we feel every day. Because when your mornings feel off, when you're bloated, anxious, tired, or foggy, it doesn't always mean something is wrong with you. Sometimes it just means your routine needs a gentle, thoughtful adjustment. Maybe tomorrow you decide to skip the ice-cold water and try something closer to room temperature. Maybe you slow down and take smaller sips instead of rushing. Maybe you toss out that old plastic bottle and switch to fresh water in a glass or stainless steel container. Or maybe, and this might be the biggest shift of all, you pair your water with a bit of breakfast to give your body the steady energy it deserves. If anything in this video spoke to you, if something made you pause or rethink your routine, that's a beautiful thing. It means you're still growing, still learning, still investing in your health, and that mindset is powerful. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you try one of these simple tips tomorrow and just notice how you feel. Trust your body, it will let you know. If you found this helpful, please share it with someone you care about, a friend, a sibling, maybe even a neighbor. You never know who might be struggling silently with the same things. And if you want to keep exploring gentle, honest health conversations like this, go ahead and subscribe or follow. Because your comfort matters, your clarity matters, and most of all, you matter. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon.